Democrat of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. What's your reaction to Ambassador Sondland's updated, corrected version? He says in his statement, just released his revised statements, that based on what he heard from other U.S. officials, they have refreshed my recollection about certain conversations in early September 2019.
Well, Wolf, not only for Ambassador Sondland, but for others, I'm reminded of the saying, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And we're going to see a lot of people's recollections refreshed by testimony as it comes forward. What is alarming here, first of all, Ambassador Sondland is our ambassador to the European Union. Ukraine is not even part of the European Union. So why he was engaged in this is clearly another dimension of the whole Giuliani, Volker, Sondland effort on Ukraine directed by the president. You know, at the end of the day, he shouldn't have even been involved with Ukraine. It's not in his portfolio. Secondly, that there seems to be, memory here that is selective at the end of the day. And the extent into which people in this administration, including in the State Department, are willing to lie for the president is astounding. And that's why you have to give credit to those like our former ambassador in Ukraine, both former ambassadors in Ukraine, that have spoken the truth and have upheld the dignity and the reputation of their positions and the State Department and the Foreign Service.
Do you think this revision of the testimony by Ambassador Sondland moves the impeachment investigation forward in a significant way?
Look, between that and if you read some of the Volker transcript as well, that basically said that it was not believable what Giuliani was pushing about the Biden corruption question, that in fact it was a problem in the relationship with Ukraine, that even Ambassador Taylor thought twice before taking the job because of the whole Giuliani effort to discredit both our former ambassador and as well as creating this false narrative that Ukraine was trying to, hurt the president. You know, the bottom line is that all of this continues to create a very clear image that the president abused his power and was willing to extort the Ukrainian president to the tune of nearly $400 million, which was the aid that the United States had voted for in the Congress in a bipartisan way to give Ukraine to do what? To defend itself against Russia. So it's all a web here that is becoming clearer and clearer in terms of what was the purpose and what was wrong with what was done. And Wolf, let me just take a moment. I keep hearing, we do not condition aid for political purposes. The only time we condition aid as a country is to promote human rights, to promote democracy, to end human trafficking, but we don't use it for political purposes. That nonsense should stop being said by some of my colleagues who know far better than that.
I guess the question now is all of these individuals who have testified behind closed doors, and now we have their written testimony, the transcripts. They all report to the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. What does it say about what he's been up to? Because he's been totally supporting what the president says.
Well, the Secretary of State has undermined the State Department. He has abandoned the career Foreign Service people. It is a stain on his mark on that department. And he has been an enabler and a facilitator of policies that he knows is fundamentally wrong. Look, Mike Pompeo is trying to walk the line that he wants to run for Senate in Kansas. He wants the president's support, and at the same time, he's willing to look the other way. When Ambassador McKinley went to him and said we should put out a statement in support of Ambassador Yovanovitch, he says he doesn't ever recall that. He doesn't recall anything about Giuliani saying that he in actuality allowed Giuliani to act in the shadow foreign policy, even though he was not authorized and had no clear position from the State Department. There were at least 100 times in which the Secretary of State could have interceded, should have interceded, not only on behalf of our career Foreign Service people, but in making sure that the national interest and security of the United States was preserved against those who were trying to bastardize it for political purposes. He did not. He failed.
Yeah.
He failed.
And Giuliani was running a lot of this Ukraine policy without any security clearances from the U.S. government. That's another point. Senator Menendez, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.